As of today, there is a brand new department in Bexar County, Department of Public Health or Preventative Health and Environmental Services, technically. And taking over today is Dr. Andrea Guerrero Guajardo, who is the director. Thank you very much for coming in on this first day. Explain to people what this department is, because you really, at least right now, there are 3 departments that exist that you're taking over kind of under an umbrella, but you're going to expand this. The county wanted to, I guess, create its own public health department, especially out of COVID. How do you see this whole new department developing?
Exactly. So because of COVID and because of the pandemic, I think that it became very evident that it was a lack of capacity within the county departments to effectively address the inequities and health disparities, especially in the unincorporated areas of the county. And so Judge Wolf and the Commissioner's Court wanted to create this entity, this division, to increase that capacity so that we could address those issues.
Some people were surprised by this. They thought, well, Metro Health works with Bexar County and you don't want to duplicate the services. But the argument against that is you want to expand those services, and especially because of the disparities out in the county.
Absolutely. So do not want to create any new things that are happening within Metro Health, but want to develop partnerships and complement anything that is existing there. But there are nearly 600,000 people that live outside the city limits of San Antonio and the unincorporated areas of the county who lack some access to basic services, where we do have higher rates of diabetes and cardiovascular disease just among the general population, especially among folks who are lower income and might have difficulty accessing services because of transportation, because of lots of different reasons. But their options are sometimes limited because they are farther removed from the city of San Antonio. And so creating this department with a focus on partnerships, with a focus on being complementary to anything that's already existing, I think will provide a more comprehensive set of circumstances for people in the entire county and not just those that are inside the city of San Antonio.
And I guess especially a focus on preventative health services. How do you see that developing, and what's this department going to look like a year from now when you're actually more or less standing up?
Right. So COVID did obviously, highlight the fact that people with pre-existing conditions, people who have higher rates of diabetes and cardiovascular disease, and especially obesity, who lacked access to health care, access to a doctor. Obviously, there was lots of testing and things like that, but once someone who was already had a pre-existing condition and then got COVID, were at much higher rate or much higher risk for death and severe illness because of COVID. And so creating this department will address a lot of the options for preventing some of those chronic conditions that can lead to severe illness and death, and not just from COVID. We have, flu is really high right now. My daughter is recovering from flu right now. And so there are lots of other conditions that can exacerbate or be exacerbated by chronic conditions that exist. And so I think that the reasons that these chronic conditions exist sometimes are historical. There's been lack of access for lots of different reasons. Obviously, the history of San Antonio, not unlike many other cities, is that those who have lower income and who are people of color, that they have been made vulnerable because of some of these historical inequities that exist in our systems.
For example, the South Side is going to finally get a big university hospital that'll be down at the Texas A&M San Antonio campus in that area, and that's where your headquarters are going to be eventually.
Eventually, yes.
How long are we looking at? Because the commissioners just announced that within the past year. How long is it going to take to develop that whole area?
The plan is well into next year. They haven't broken ground on that hospital, but I'm told that the plan is to to build that hospital next year, and so eventually the public health department will move down there, but for now we'll be downtown with the other county offices.
And now the 3 departments that you have that are under you right now are agri-life, environmental health, as well as behavioral and mental health or environmental services. What does that mean? What do some of those things do now that we wouldn't think? Environmental services, agri-life, but that's part of a health department?
Right. Environmental services is responsible for air quality, for mosquito control, for garbage and waste pickup, also for septic.
Which we don't think of as part of a health department per se.
Oh, I mean, just the disposing of waste is extremely important in terms of public health. In lots of neighborhoods, if there is an abundance of trash that's not picked up, it can attract
Sure.
lots of different things that are unhealthy. You know, you can have roach infestations, rodent infestations, depending on the type of garbage that's left out. And so Bexar County's done a really great job of building up that department. That it definitely is directly related to public health, but also septic. Folks who need access to wastewater and, you know, really efficient septic systems out in the county, those are extremely important to public health.
You're going to have a wide portfolio there to start on.
Right. But the behavioral mental health department also, you know, as a lot of folks know, the county jail is the largest provider of mental health services in the county. And so that department, I think, is going to be essential to increase the capacity to serve those folks that are in that facility. And then and folks that are in that facility also have families and children and wives and husbands. And so just the person that is in that facility is not the only person that probably needs access to mental health. It is a family issue and extremely important department to include in public health.
Well, it sounds like you have a little work to do.
A little bit.
So good luck with that new job. Again, this is Dr. Andrea Guerrero Guajardo, who is the Director of Preventative Health and Environmental Services Department for the county as of today. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.